I've got a question for you. Don't you also sometimes wonder what our world could look like in a century? When I'm thinking about our world in 100 years, I'm thinking about something like this. A united world, free from hatred and political games, governed by common sense, with humanities as a whole, best interests in mind, and us being dedicated to exploration, science, arts, and self-fulfillment. Strongly supported by our then always present daily companion, AI. It is essentially the Star Trek vision, and in my humble opinion, a bright future. However, when others think about our world in 100 years, they have something else in mind. A world enslaved by robots. At war against autonomous weapon systems whose sole purpose is the entire annihilation of humanity, and the day-to-day life for us being a constant fight for survival and accompanied by fear. It is the Terminator vision, the kill AI vision, to whose advocates one could count Elon Musk or even Stephen Hawking. So, in which world would you rather like to live? Terminator? Raise your hands, please. Well, or Star Trek? Raise your hands. Well, that's not surprising. However, in which world do you think we will later live? With what you know about AI now? Terminator? Star Trek? Where are we headed? This question is really difficult to answer, isn't it? We simply don't know where AI will evolve. We know it will, but its path remains hidden. So how can we make sure that we do not end up in a Terminator world, but rather in a Star Trek one? Well, to answer this question, let us take a look at a field which is concerning the whole of our society: healthcare. Let's paint the momentary picture. How many of you are using a fitness tracker, a Fitbit, Apple Watch, or similar? Raise your hands, please. All right. They're amazing, aren't they? Competing with your family, friends, and colleagues in a steps race, seeing how many calories you burn today, or getting a detailed cartography of military bases and supply routes in Iraq and Afghanistan. The data which is being generated by such devices is massive. And hospitals and doctors are generating even more. Just think about X-rays, blood tests, information regarding prescriptions and treatments, vital parameters, the list goes on. We are producing enormous amounts of medical data in an age where data is power. And there's a lot of awesome things we can do with an AI utilizing the power of this data. Detecting inconsistencies in X-rays or blood tests, predicting diseases and fighting them before they even come to life. And in a Star Trek world, having a 24/7 health monitor and AI doctor on your wrist, whom is solely responsible for you and utilizes the whole of an interconnected network of medical data to draw its predictions and conclusions. In short, Daisy. Thanks to Daisy, you'd never have to feel sick. It would constantly be checking your data and compare to other to see if you're on a path towards a sickness. Daisy would alert you, suggest lifestyle changes, give preventive tips, and if the AI can't be for sure, get a second opinion from a human doctor, where you don't need to wait an hour for a 5-minute talk because all the small things are being handled by your AI assistant. Your wristband, your Daisy. The benefit for our population's health would be tremendous. And all that results from an efficient utilization of our medical data through an AI. So how is this data used today? Does Daisy exist yet? Well, unfortunately not. The data which is lying around in your patient file is merely given a glance when you're currently under treatment or about to be. It is only checked if your doctor needs to get information. And analytics with AI, There are attempts and progress being made, but these are mainly in a research and testing state. Furthermore, the data which you are collecting with your fitness trackers cannot be described as more than a nice gimmick to show your friends. Should you show it to your doctor, the most likely response you get would be, that's cool, but what should I do with it? And this response results from patient and fitness tracker data being held in their own respective cage, which makes research really tough. After all, without knowing the patient outcome, how could you know that a certain pattern of steps, calories intake, heart rate, and so on actually lead to a certain disease? So AI analytics in this field is mostly still a theory. However, we have a means to utilize the data. We have the ambition and we have the vision of a whole interconnected network of medical data where an AI, where DAISY, could access each and everybody's data and predict threats to your own health. What is blocking us from just starting is siloed data as of strict regulations. So wouldn't it be to our benefit if we just got rid of these regulations and open up our medical data so researchers could finally draw the connections between fitness tracker data and the medical outcome, and we could ascend to a Star Trek world? Well, yes, but no. You know, no regulations also means that governments, insurance companies, employers, basically everybody has access to your medical data and can do whatever he wants with it. No good. Why? Well, imagine you're in competition for your dream job. The job you've been looking forward to and working towards almost your entire life. The job either fulfilling you or finally enabling you to have the financial support you've always wanted to provide for your family. You've been working extremely hard for it, gave your best, and made it to the final bracket. I'm sure some of our more senior colleagues in this room have already made this experience, and some of the younger are right within it. You know that you're better suited for the position than your competitors, and your potential employer knows that as well. After all, you're all smart people. So you'll be getting the job, right? No. We are in a Terminator world, and your potential employer finds out something you didn't know yet. A high likelihood that you will develop dementia within the next 5 years. That's been it with your new job. How did they find it out? Well, your medical data isn't protected by regulations. Everybody can use and analyze it. And while Stacy always wants to help you, she can do little against outside forces if she's unprotected. Everybody can take a look at her predictions and conclusions. And why shouldn't they? After all, leveraging regulatory gaps has always been kind of a sport for many. And ethical behavior for some is more of a rough guideline. You can always cross if it is in a way of your own benefit and profit. If we want to live in a Star Trek world, in a world where your AI Dr. Daisy can help you at the best, we need to answer the question if our Star Trek future is unreachable. And it is okay to ask the question after all this Terminator talk. And yeah, what kind of a talk would it be if I'd say yes to this question? Of course it is possible for us. But we need to get our stuff together. The danger of a Terminator world is real, and we are leaning dangerously close. To combat that, we need to reshape our societal thinking into one that puts ethics in its center. If we want to live in that Star Trek world, we cannot have people looking how they could exploit the new technology for their own profit at all means necessary. We cannot have people who value their own benefit over the ethical implications. What do we need are people who ask themselves, is what I'm doing providing the greatest good to the greatest number of people? Or rephrased, is what I'm doing causing more harm than benefit? It is a deeply personal process and a mindset everybody has to develop for himself. and it will take time until it establishes. However, we can start today. You can start today. The next time you're to approve a project or to decide to join one, ask yourself, whom is this project good for? Who benefits and who's harmed? And then make your decision. If we do that, we have the ability to lead the usage of AI, data, digital, everything on a path towards a Star Trek future. We are to make our future AI society a Star Trek one. And I think we can do it. Digital can make the world a better place, but only if we begin to ask the ethics question. So in the end, enabling AI, enabling digital to make the world a better place is up to you. Terminator or Star Trek, you decide. Thank you.